Welcome to another episode of the Holistic Sister Circle. Today we have Meg Glenn with us, and Meg is a wellness advocate, biohacker, Christian, who empowers women to reclaim their health and youth with natural solutions and effortless alternative wellness tools, sprinkled with spiritual encouragement. Meg, I am so excited to have you here, and thank you so much for being a part of our community.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here and I appreciate this opportunity to share what I do.
Absolutely. So, for us to just start off, Meg, can you just tell us a little bit about who you are, what you do that no one knows on social media yet? Something that could be just for us.
Okay. Well, a lot of the things that have impacted me the most are on social media, so that'll be hard. But basically, so my sister died of cancer about 7 years ago. And after that, I was always scared of what secret things are hiding in my body that could be slowly killing me that I don't know about. So that's a fear that I haven't shared on the internet yet. um, and that kind of took me down. I was always on the crunchier side, but that kind of took me down a different path into the biofeedback world. um, and I found that there are ways to find imbalances in your body and areas of weakness without being using something that's invasive, without mammography or um, any kind of biopsies or anything invasive, just a headset. And you can find areas of weakness and address those weaknesses before they turn into disease or something scary and horrible. And there's just steps you can take in your own life to prevent disease that are easy, sometimes free, sometimes not. But that's kind of what got me into this.
Wow. Well, one, thank you so much for sharing that. I know that was not the best, obviously, situation to go through at the time, but it
Yeah.
sounds like it really was a transformation for you and really being able to go after the things that you know that are super important for you. Now, could you share just with what happened with your sister, how has that truly changed the way that you view life and your perspective on your health?
Well, one thing is just knowing that in a way that I didn't understand before is that we're all going to die. It's just that's part of the cycle of life. And we don't know when or how. And just accepting that that's all in God's hands and trusting that I'm going to live this day for Him. And if He gives me the next day, that's a gift, but we're not entitled to that. And I shouldn't look at it like God took my sister away too soon, but that I got her for 37 years and that I can live each day to His glory and make healthy choices today. And that gives me a sense of control while still understanding that we don't have control in this world, in this life. I mean, there's just so much we can do. And we really, I mean, truly, there's so much that's out of our control. We just do the best with what we can with what we've got.
Wow, that's so true. And it puts so much into perspective for me as well. I remember over the weekend, Mother's Day weekend, I had went to visit my grandmother's grave. And it just made me think of like all of the people that were here. Some were there and they passed away at 28 years old. And then I saw someone who passed away at 99. And it really put things into perspective for me. And I'm just like, out of the people who are here, how many people were actually able to share their story or share a moment in time where they were able to help someone else? And I remember as we got back from that trip, going to her grave and coming back to the house, and we started talking, and all we could talk about were just stories, like the stories and the moments. And it was fun. It was fun. It was laughter. It was exciting. And all I could think about was, man, this dash from life to death, what do I actually want that to look like in between? And how many people can I touch? And how many people can share stories like this about me, and would they even want to? And if not, what are the things that I can make sure that I'm doing now here on earth to give people an opportunity to say, man, I met her and this is what I experienced from that, because that's all that we have to look forward to. And I'm grateful that you were able to experience that with your sister, where you're like, okay, I am treasuring the time that I did have with her. And I've learned from this, and I've learned so much to the point where I can still share her story in a way that really helps me, but also the people that are around me. So I'm grateful for you to share that with us.
Yeah. Thank you for your story also.
Yeah, you're welcome. So, talk to me a little bit about biohacking. I know this is a term that a lot of people don't know what it is. Can you share what is biohacking and how did you get involved?
So when I Googled biohacking, I learned that it's basically anything that you do to support your body. And so biofeedback is one way, but just drinking tea and using herbs in your food is another way. Just any way you can get to your body in a way that heals it is considered biohacking, from what I gather. Um, so I use the biofeedback, I use phototherapy patches, and I use food to support my health. And um, food, obviously, everyone eats every day. So that's an easy one. But the biofeedback and the phototherapy, those are ways that I kind of hack my health in a more unconventional way.
Mm. Can you share what those are? So, what is biofeedback? And I think the second one you said was
Phototherapy.
phototherapy. What
Yeah,
is that?
they're both forms of light therapy. So if you use like a red light machine, you've used light therapy. Biofeedback, the kind of biofeedback that I use is quantum biofeedback. So it's a non-invasive way to get information from your body about the areas of weakness and imbalance. And then what the machine can do, it has stored programs for what a balanced frequency should look like. It can send that therapy back into your body. And you can do that 1 time, 5 times, 20 times for each organ, each particular cell, like a strand of DNA or your chromosomes, or just something big like your heart or liver. And this is not hooked up right now, but this is the machine I use. It's the hardware, the headset that goes on your ears, and then there's a little cup that can tell me I can put supplements or patches or something along those lines into it, and I can test organs against it to find out if that supplement is going to strengthen an organ or weaken it. So that's a really valuable tool. And then the patches are just these little sticky things. You put one on a day for 12 hours, take it off, throw it away, let your body rest for 12 hours, and then the next day use another one. And different ones are manufactured to send signals to your body. It reflects a certain light wave back into your body, and it either tells your body to make or activate stem cells that are already in your body and maybe dormant, or produce glutathione, or whatever the patch is designed to do. It's just supporting your body in a specific way to promote healing.
Mm, love that. Okay. And for now, since you have been utilizing the phototherapy and the biofeedback tools, what have you seen? Like, just from the clients that you've worked with, what are some of the things that you can share that you've seen and that they've come to you with? And then after leveraging these tools and some of the other modalities that you're using, how were they able to see results?
Okay, that's a fun question because it's always great to see healing. Um, for one person, that one of my clients, she does not like to get the therapy. She just wants to know the areas of weakness in her body. So every few months, she'll ask me to scan her, and I'll do that. And one time, she had gone to, I think, a holistic person and a more mainline doctor. And her tests for the mainline doctor were coming back okay. And then her tests from the more holistic person said, you've got these areas of weakness. And she didn't tell me that, but I use remote therapy. So what I'll do is collect someone's fingernails. And if you want to go down that rabbit hole, it's quantum entanglement is what you'd want to Google. But so I'll just put that in the headset and it gives me information about the person's body in real time. So I found a few areas that were out of whack for her, and I told her that, and she said that those were the same exact areas that when she was muscle tested came back as weak. And then she went back to her more mainstream doctor and got tested and found that these areas were indeed not functioning well. So that was sad, but cool to find, the root cause, because that's always important. And just all sorts of things that you would never expect, just looking at the results from that this machine spits out and finding areas that are imbalanced, like a thyroid, that's really common. And it's not something you really think of. You think your stomach, that's a common one. Or if you have brain fog, maybe your brain is weak, but that's not necessarily the case. It could be some little thing, little overlooked organ or area. So those have been a couple cool revelations from that machine. And then for the patches, I've seen a lot of anxiety decrease with those. Sometimes with certain patches, they take away pain really well. But just like a feeling of well-being and also immunity. I went for at least 4 months over the winter when my kids were bringing home all sorts of yucky colds and I didn't get sick at all. And that was really cool because I do get sick generally. And I didn't get sick until the end of April. So a month after winter ended, I finally caught something. And I could say, yes, I do still get sick. But that was a real win for me to make it through the entire winter without even catching a sniffle.
Wow, I love that.
Yeah.
Now, this is so interesting. So, for those who don't know what muscle testing is, can you share a little bit about what that is, how your client like actually experienced that, and then how it's different from what it is that you're doing? And the reason I'm asking this question is because obviously there's so many different tools and resources that you can use. And I think it's also important that you know which ones you are out there so you know which ones that you would like to try. Um, so yeah, could you share a little bit more about that?
So I don't muscle test. I've tried a little and I just kind of didn't pursue it. But basically, it's trying to test your body for areas of weakness. So a lot of times a chiropractor will give you a little sample of food like cheese or eggs, and you hold it against your body and hold out your arm, and then they'll push down on your arm. And if your body doesn't like it or has a bad reaction to it, your arm will kind of go down easily or it'll go down a little more. So in my experience, that's what I've seen. Since I don't do it myself, I can't claim to be an expert, but I can use the machine to test certain organs against things like food. So, so that's muscle testing. And there was another part to your question that I forget that I want to make sure I answer.
No, no, that was it. It
Okay.
was just like, what is muscle testing? Just so people have a better idea of like how to use multiple things. Like maybe maybe they've never tried it. Maybe they would like to. Maybe they want to do the biofeedback. I think it's good to have, an
Yeah.
array of different things that they can try. Now, after, say, for example, in your case, they do the biofeedback and they do the phototherapy. Are you also providing them the herbs and the nutrients or supplements that they need in addition to the food? Are you coming up with a plan for them? Like, how does that look?
No, I don't do that. I'm not a coach, but I can find on the machine like different herbs that are suggested, and I can tell them that. And on my page, I usually every week post about herbs on Mondays and then teas on Tuesdays, and I just give people little tidbits of health so that if they're struggling with something, they can see that, oh, this is high in vitamin C, or this is good for hormone balancing. And they can just take that information and do what they want with it. And that's kind of with a machine. I can't diagnose or treat anything. I can send these balance therapies, but the best I can do is offer like basically layman level support, give them information that you can find readily available on the internet or in books, and just let them know that they can either strengthen their frequencies with the machine, or they can go to a regular doctor and say, hey, I think my liver's out of whack. But yeah, I don't provide a ton of support outside of those areas, but I will point people in the direction that would be helpful to them according to the machine.
Got it. Okay. And then how often should someone use the machine? Is it like every 3 to 4 months? Like how often should you be getting tested?
Well, so you can get tested every 4 to 6 weeks and I can run a report. But if you want to see sustainable change, I need to be running therapy on a person at least 3 days a week, ideally 5 or 6 days a week. So I have two different plans. Well, I can do the thing where I just run a report and let you know the areas that are out of balance. I can also give you therapy 3 days a week, or you can do the plan that's 5 to 6 days a week. 6 is like a bonus day. I can usually get it in, but I don't commit to it. Um, and depending on the degree of weakness or disease in the body, that really dictates how long you need to get therapy to see long-term results, because a lot of times disease will build up in our body over decades, so it takes months to see change. But generally speaking, there's a difference within the first week. But if someone has a serious disease, it's not going to cure it in a week, but you might notice like fewer headaches, more energy, that sort of thing.
Got it. Okay. No, this is super helpful. Now, if there were anyone that was looking to work with you with the biofeedback or the phototherapy, is this something that can be done virtually or is it only in person?
Yeah, I work with people virtually, and that's my go-to way of operating, because it's just more convenient for everyone, and that way they don't have to drive to my home. I can give therapy to someone in another state or another country. Um, but yeah, I can do all the communication online, Google Meet, Facebook. It's really easy. I just need them to mail me something like fingernail clippings, or that's usually the best. You can do hair samples also, but just something with their DNA so that the machine can get the information.
Got it. Okay. And is there at any time where you don't use the DNA?
Um, I just feel better using it. There was one time I didn't. It was an extreme situation, and I just thought, we'll just put in the information and see what happens. And basically, I was just trying to get a scan. I wasn't, well, no, I did try to send therapy to that person for a while until I got his DNA, but he was in a really dire situation, like life and death.
Yeah. Okay. Super helpful. Love that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Now, Meg, if anyone was looking to, work with you further, like what does that process look like? How can we reach you?
Yeah, they can just contact me on Facebook on my page, In Pursuit of Health and Wholeness. Um, and we can figure out uh, what plan looks best for them. Um, if someone just needs like some upkeep, 3 days a week is fine. If they have something they really want to hit hard, 5 or 6 days a week is best. And then the nice thing about the patches is they can just order them themselves and put them on every day. And it's like, it's all on them. They have, control of their health to a degree that they wouldn't with the biofeedback machine because they're doing it themselves.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for your time. This has been such a pleasure, and I'm so grateful that we got the opportunity to do this.
Yeah, thank you so much for the interview.
You're welcome. Queen, thank you so much for tuning in. It truly warms our heart that you're taking the time out of your day to connect with us. If you'd like to connect with our guests further, you can find their information located in the description section of this episode. And if you found this episode helpful, share with another queen. And don't forget to connect with the Holistic Sister Circle on Instagram and Facebook. And until next week, stay blessed. Mwah.